Hello and welcome to our latest vlog. This one will be dedicated to my new grad orientation that I will be starting tomorrow. So today I'm gonna start the filming with the prep. So far I've gotten my eyebrows done. Yeah, I've gotten gas put in my car, get an oil change, check out my tire pressures because apparently they're low, get cash in case of parking issues. They don't want to take my car, and a whole bunch of other stuff. So I'm gonna take you guys along with me, and I'm so excited to share this new grad nursing orientation because yeah, I'm just excited. We have a couple days that are in person this week, and then the rest are virtual. And then I have my first shift on my unit this Friday. So I start orientation Monday. First 12-hour shift is Friday. So I'm excited. Can't wait to take you guys along with me. And if you are new to our channel, hello, my name is Priscilla. I run this page with my friend Ricki, and we've basically been using this channel to kind of document our healthcare journey. So I am now a registered nurse. Ricki is she's about to take her NCLEX. June will be a registered nurse, but she just finished her 4-year degree for nursing, and she'll be going back to school to get her post-bac a doctor. So if you guys are interested in that kind of, please check out our other videos, subscribe. We plan to put out new videos every other Monday, so definitely stay tuned because we have a lot of stuff to come. All right guys, see you later.
Saying be casual as the most uncasual person right now.
You gotta tell them all the time. It's 7:30 in the morning. They say get here by 8:15. I was so anxious about parking that I was like, I'm just gonna come an hour early in case parking is crazy. But today is their new what is today? This is an all-employee orientation today. So this is, I guess, everybody that's new. And then later on in the week, we'll have a specific nursing orientation for like any new nurse or transferring nurse or whatever, any kind of nurse that just newly got hired. So I'm excited. I'm assuming today will be rather just kind of like introductions about the hospital, but I'll definitely try to get in clips for you guys. That way we're able to experience this together. So, all right, I'll check in with you guys later. First day of orientation is done. It was a good day. Sorry if you can hear my car, first of all. It was a good day. Basically, what it entailed, there was a whole bunch of other people from different parts of the hospital there, as in like employee-wise. And basically, we just kind of went over like first day stuff. So we went over like the mission, our goals, values, all the things that my hospital has done with the community, Something special that I do want to highlight is that we were so fortunate enough to meet the CEO of our hospital. Like, he came in and he spoke with us for about like, I don't know, maybe like 20 or so minutes. And I don't really know where I'm going with this, but I just felt like that really just made me feel really good about coming into this new hospital, because I think in my last hospital, it was granted, it was during the pandemic. Like, I started working there in like July. I started working in there like in July, and it was like right when the pandemic hit. So maybe that's why it wasn't as robust as it usually was. I was very grateful that it was in person, but I don't know, compared that hospital compared to this hospital's orientation, even on the first day, this one was so good. Our facilitator, like, he really tried so hard to keep us like interested in what he was saying. And yes, I might have trailed off at times, but like overall it was, I wouldn't count as like a very boring day. There was a lot of interactive stuff. But back onto the CEO, he made a lot of comments that made me feel really good. And first, before I get into this, I just want to say that I'm so glad Ricki and I made this space for ourselves to really talk about whatever that we want to talk about, because I feel like as Black women in healthcare, there is a space where there isn't always a space for us to talk, and it can feel very uncomfortable when we do. And so I'm glad that we have this format to talk about it, because he was talking about a lot of things. First, I made a little bit of notes. So first, going to talk about what he said that he looks for in a leader. And the first thing that he said is confidence. So I just want to share that with you guys, that a CEO of a hospital, a major hospital system, is looking for somebody who is confident. Two, I didn't realize that I feel like I'm jumping around a lot, sorry. But something else, I didn't realize how big cancer was in this hospital. I'm on the oncology unit. So the fact that they hired me onto their oncology unit, knowing and now hearing from the CEO how big they like recognize cancer and how they are so motivated in curing cancer, I'm just like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize that. It just made me feel very special, I guess, that like the managers thought of me, like hired me out of all applicants to work on this unit. It made me feel very like proud. Like, I feel very, I don't know, I'm just happy that she saw that kind of whatever in me to put me on such like a very important floor clearly to this hospital and their like overall goals. But I guess back on my topic of why I was happy that we met the CEO, on top of like him talking about those things that I just mentioned, but he also highlighted George. And yes, I think it's a very strategic move to talk about like, you know, very racial issues, like when it comes to like any type of, you know, orientation or just letting people know like where you stand on some things. But at the same time, like he didn't have to comment on it. He didn't have to comment on it. And so the fact that he purposely put that in like his like introduction to us, I felt like means a lot, and that it means that he really does value like diversity and inclusion. And I know when I was like first when I had clinicals there, I noticed that like a lot of the nurses on my floor at least were young white women. And for me, as a young Black woman, I felt like I just wasn't gonna get hired because I didn't look the part. That the hiring managers automatically have a bias towards white women, and that's who they would hire. And the fact that, and I was so nervous about this. I remember I texted my friend who also works in the hospital. I was like, I'm just so nervous about me being Black, and I know they're gonna ask me a question about diversity. I don't know how deep to get into it, and da-da-da-da. And he was just like, just be yourself. And like, I was myself, yes, but I didn't definitely dive in the way that I probably would have. And I just wanna like take a moment to just share that if you're passionate about something, you should 100% show your future employer or show anybody that's listening that you are passionate about that. I am very passionate about diversity and inclusion and making sure that everybody's voice is heard, especially when it comes to people of color, especially when it comes to Black women, because I just feel like more times than not, we hear that voices are overshadowed or that they're not heard, or we're only seeing one voice being represented in like larger discussions. I haven't looked at I keep jumping around, I'm sorry. I haven't looked at the complete executive board of this hospital to know how many like people of color are actually on it. I would imagine it's probably gonna be mostly white people, but still, I feel like from what his words were, was that he did care about it, and that's not something that people wouldn't know about him. I felt like from the way he like talked that most people knew that where he stood on diversity and where he stood on hiring people coming from different diverse backgrounds. And I just wish that I had mentioned something like that more. Sorry, I'm looking at car. I just wish that I had talked about that more during my interview, because I think it definitely would have shown my employer like a better version of myself on like where I stand on this issue. So today was a good day. I'm looking at anything else. Yeah, those are the topics that I wanted to hit. It was a good day. I'm happy. Back. So today was day 3 of orientation, and it is so hard to get clips. Like we're basically just been sitting, either it's been on Zoom, which was day 2. Yesterday was all virtual on Zoom. Today was our second in-person day, and we were kind of just sitting in this conference room talking, or auditorium or whatever, just talking. So it's hard to get clips, but I still want to share about what happened during orientation today. So this was our day 2 of our nursing specific orientation. And today was really cool because we got to meet the chief nurse executive of our hospital. And I kind of got the same vibe that I got from like the CEO of the hospital that I was talking about in my last clip, where once again, it just felt like they were aware of the need for diverse nurses, because a comment that she made, and a comment that I had even observed when I was first a clinical student at this hospital, was that a lot of the nurses were young white women, and how like when I was interviewing, it was so anxious about coming, like interviewing as like a Black woman, like would they want me, would they be biased, like I don't really know. But once again, from her, the way she was talking to us was that she commented on it. She was like, our nursing staff is not as diverse as it should be, and how it should really match the patient population that is coming in here, and how important it is for patients to see somebody that looks like them, that is taking care of them. So I'm so freaking happy she made that note, because once again, it just made me feel really, really, really good about the fact that I chose to come to this hospital. I feel like this is definitely the place that I should stay at. And like, I don't know if I mentioned this last time, but both of them, the CEO and the CNE, were both like, we hope that you guys retire with us. We hope that you guys stay here. It's a great hospital system. Kind of going off about like the many reasons why you'll find a lot of satisfaction in your job if you do stay with us. And I don't don't know. They kind of selling me on this story, because before I was like, oh, like, you know, the beauty about nursing is that you can move wherever, but they kind of selling me on this story that this is where I should stay, because it is a really good hospital. And I'm just like so happy that I get to start here as like my first nursing job. And like, I also feel a little bit spoiled that I get to start here as my first nursing job, because a lot of people, even though our room had a lot of new grads, I feel like a lot of people, they had to get experience someplace else before they're able to come. I feel like that's kind of been the consensus, or they worked here already. Like, I am like fresh. I worked at a different hospital, similar in the area. To the fact that I get to start here, I feel like really blessed and lucky and a little bit spoiled. So I'm happy. Anything else that I want to talk about? I thought it was really cool. They talked about salient nursing moments, and those are just kind of like moments that the patient really needs the nurse there. And so I was happy that they brought that up during our orientation, because I felt like that definitely made me think about how I could be like more therapeutic and supportive for my patients. Because sometimes you think like when you come in there and you have like, you know, you have a good attitude as like the nurse, and you just kind of like make it known that you're there for them, you kind of think that that's enough. Like, okay, they'll know that I'm here, like I've done my role. But there are a lot of like key moments like while you're taking care of a patient where they probably are more like frightened versus others. Like if they're getting like a really hard diagnosis, or they're getting an IV placed, or, you know, during admission where, you know, they have to leave everything at home, or whenever there's like a change in their environment, like they have to get transferred someplace else. Like those are really like key moments in like nursing care and like just their overall hospital stay, that they probably do want somebody that is like gonna take an extra step in making sure that they're comfortable and making sure that they're okay. So I'm really happy that they brought up that, because it's definitely things that I will now think about moving forward, and how I could just, you know, make sure that my patients know that I am here for them physically and emotionally. All right, and that's it. So I think I think for the rest of the day, I'm going to try to like finish up all those like little, you know how like when you get hired somewhere, you have to do all these different modules. I'm going to try to do those today and get them out of the way, so that way I don't have to think about them. And then on Friday, I'm going to have my first on unit day. Am I saying this right? I'm tired. I'm going to have my first day on the unit for a full 12 hours. I don't really know what to do to prepare for that. I feel like the only thing that you really can do is just kind of like be a sponge, take notes, and not overwhelm yourself. And then for the next time, then you're a little bit more prepared. But I'm looking forward to it. And once again, I'll keep you guys updated on what's happening. All right, bye. And one more thing. So my orientation date was quite early compared to like my friends. I do know a couple of other people that will be like coming into this hospital, but their orientation date is like in August. And I'm trying to make new friends, you know, I'm trying to chat it up, and everybody is super nice. And I think that's like the point that I definitely want to make, that everybody is super nice, especially that there's a lot of new grads. So there's a lot of people that don't know people, or this is like their first nursing job, so they're anxious and they're just looking for like friends who they can talk to about. But I just want to say, like, be patient with yourself, that you'll eventually find friends. And if you can remember yourself, if you could remember something that you would tell your freshman self when they were first started college, think about that now, especially in regards to like making friends, because I think I would just tell myself that it's okay to just like chat it up with the person next to you. Like they're probably in the same boat as you, as having like questions, or just like being new, or just kind of like, you know, just wanting some extra people around you. And so I'm definitely going to continue to try to practice that. I think we have like some nurse residency days, but they might be virtual, so I don't really know how easy it is to get me talk to my neighbor. But I'm excited to meet my coworkers and, you know, start chatting it up with them. They're gonna know that I'm gonna be new, and that I'm a new grad, and that I need friends. So I'm hoping that I could tell that everybody's gonna be really nice. So just when you're joining your new hospital and you're like new, I'm in the same boat as you. I'm trying my hardest to make new friends. I met this girl today, so hopefully, you know, I have some lunch buddies. So yeah. Back in my car. Alrighty, so I don't know where I left off in my last clip, but I believe I was talking about my first day on the unit. And the first day happened on Friday. Today is now. It's a couple days afterwards, but anyways, I wanted to reflect on my first day and kind of share my general experience with it. First day, how did I feel? I felt like a nursing student. I felt like a confident nursing student. I kind of knew what the lowdown was, but I felt like a nursing student. I didn't have any like login to like give meds, so I wasn't really able to look up my patients, the different patients that we had charts. It was just, I was just kind of like shadowing. It basically was a shadow day, which I respect, but like having like that navy scrubs on made me feel like, I don't know, it just made me feel like I should have been doing more but I'm comfortable with what I was doing. I felt like the way people probably perceive me is that I should have been doing more. But honestly, it was my first day. Like, what did you expect of me? Overall, it was good. By the time I knew it was already time to leave. So I did a full 12-hour shift. And so that was great. I go back in on Wednesday and Thursday. My preceptor said that I'll have my login by then. And so then I'll take a patient and then I'll take care of them for the day. And so that's really exciting. So I've been like reviewing different like oncology related stuff, like about meds and considerations and like all those different things. So that way I could like, you know, feel a little bit better and kind of like start to really learn more about it. But I'm overall excited about my unit. I really like it. My nurse was nice. I like the CNAs. There's actually a girl on my floor that's from my school that she recognized me. And so we were chatting it up a little bit. But yeah, it was cool. And next, so I mean, I guess I'll talk about like my schedule for next week. So I had orientation last week. I had something Monday, Tuesday. Did I have something Wednesday? I don't know. But I was on the unit. I had Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I had different orientation stuff. And then Friday was the first day I was on the unit. I had something today. I had like a chart class to figure out how to learn how to chart. Tomorrow I have nothing. And then Wednesday, Thursday, I go back on the unit back to back for 12-hour shifts, which is exciting. I'm excited about that. And then next week I'm off like completely. Like I don't ever go on the unit, but I have like various like classes about like tele or heart monitoring stuff that I'll go throughout the week. And then I don't think I come back until the following weekend where I'll do I'm supposedly doing 3 shifts back to back, but one of those days is a nurse residency day. So I think I have to flip around my schedule somehow. I don't know if they'll change me to a different shift for that day or have me not come in at all, but I'm supposedly working 3 shifts back to back. Overall exciting stuff about that too. And I guess I'll talk about like my orientation for this job. So I'm supposed to be on orientation for 3 months. So I'm supposed to end sometime around October, but my nurse, so you know, during that time I'll have a preceptor that'll be with me the entire time, and like I'll always be able to refer back to them if I ever have questions and stuff. I'll have like a dedicated person that's supposed to be like, you know, watching over me. After that, for the rest of the year, like up until 1 year since my start date, I will be in a nurse residency class, which I don't know. There's a lot of videos out there about nurse residency classes, so go ahead and like you should look those up if you're interested. I definitely recommend them. They're supposed to help like new grad nurses transition into practice and just help give them like a support system. I'm supposed to have my first meeting with the other nurse residents and like the directors like next week. I don't know, sometime next week I think. And that lasts for a year. And then at the end of it, I have to do an evidence-based practice project. I don't know how that works. I guess I'll talk about it later on. But so for the next 3 months, I'll be in orientation. And then for the next year, I'll be a nurse resident. And then I think after that, that's when I am official, like a clinical nurse, like a staff nurse, regular nurse, where then I'll be able to start to reap the benefits of being like an actual nurse and not just like a new grad nurse. And last and certainly not least, I also want to talk about a lesson that I learned. This is not just a lesson that I learned on like my first day of working, but a lesson that I learned throughout my entire nursing school. And now that I'm going to be like, Priscilla, don't stray from this, because sometimes I feel like when you feel like you're supposed to know something, you kind of want to say, okay, let me backtrack. My advice is to never fake it or lie to the patient. If you do not know something, do not act like you do. Because what will happen is that you'll tell the patient one thing and then they'll believe you or they'll question you, and you'll like try to reassure them like, oh no, that's how it's supposed to be. And then somebody else will come in and they'll be like, actually it's this way. And they'll be like, oh, and they'll lose trust in you. Especially like as a nursing student, you may feel like you want to prove yourself to your patients and to like your preceptors or to the other nursing students that you know a lot. And just know that every day is a learning moment. It's okay to not know things. It's a lot safer to admit that you don't know things rather than making it seem like you do. So never lie to the patient. That is like probably like the fastest way for them to lose trust. If you don't know something, it's okay that you don't know something. Just, I'm not sure, but I'm going to find out for you. There is no harm. There's no shame in doing that. Nurses do that all the time if they don't know something, especially like the ones that are very experienced. Like they've seen it all. Then if something pops up that they don't know, they're going to admit that, hey, I don't know that. So I'm going to find out. My hospital gave us this binder to, you know, have like a framework for our orientation, and I was looking through it before I go to bed, and I just wanted to see like how I was doing like progress wise. And we have this part in the binder where it talks about staff nurse orientation over the 14-week overview, and it tells us by like each week what our goal should be and activities and things to review. And I don't know, maybe it's just because I've had experience being like a nurse extern, or I don't know. I'm kind of feeling myself right now once again. Let me not feel myself though. Let me stay humble. Let me check myself that I'm still new. That the things that I should be doing are like in week 5. No, week 4. And I feel like it's fair to like have me doing the things that I'm doing. Like, am I taking full care of like this? Like one of the things that it's a week 4 is care of one patient. Today I did take care of a patient. Was I like completely independent in that care? No. So maybe let me not take Let me delete this. I don't know. But anyways, I don't know. I feel like I'm progressing well. I feel like it's kind of good to function like a week ahead, or at least kind of like get hints for a week ahead. So that way, like, you're able to comfortably be within that week and then, you know, continue to progress. But week 2, things that I should be doing, so that way you guys, you know, can maybe just compare it to your own hospital, or kind of expect what to be on by like week 2 or 3 for your orientation, includes getting oriented to the unit and the other staff nurses and like the CNAs and the doctors and the PAs and the NPs and social work and pharmacists, all that. You know, starting to get to people know who I am. Practicing skills like vital signs, EKGs, blood sugars. Doing my different classes that I have to take. So I have to take a class on charting. I have to take a class on dysrhythmias. I have to learn about documentation. I have to learn about how to make a stat page, phone systems, pager systems. Those are things that I should be doing during like week 2 to 3. And honestly, that in itself could be like a whole entire day of just like learning everything. But I feel like I'm at this point, I feel like I'm a hands-on learner. Like I feel like throughout nursing school, I did a lot of reading and like reviewing and just thinking that it'll stick. And let me tell you, it doesn't stick for me. I don't know why I really thought that it would stick. Like reviewing each med every day, like how that would make sense to me. Like I feel like I really have to see the med being given and see the patient attached to it. So I'm glad that I have the experience of pairing things together, because just reading, although like policy is really important to know, I feel like it's so hard to like think about it unless like you've at least seen it at least one time. I feel like, at least for me, it probably works better for me to like review it a little bit, see it, and then continue to review, like, and then fill it out, because rather than if I just read something and am I making sense? I don't know. If I just read something and I read something and I read something and I read something and I read something like multiple times and I never actually do it, it's not going to click. And I feel like that's probably a lot of people, especially in nursing school, because I could ramble. A lot of times I feel like nursing students aren't given like credit. I feel like we're kind of looked down upon in a way, and how we don't have people. I feel like people don't take it seriously, not as seriously as you would take like an intern, like a doctor. And I feel like maybe that kind of plays into like how we see ourselves too. At least I feel like that's how I played in, how I felt myself. Like I felt very intimidated by nurses at one point, and then I feel intimidated by like doctors and that kind of stuff, because I just feel like we're expected to just kind of be on the sideline, look but don't touch. Nursing school, I feel like very much was a look but don't touch situation. And if you are gonna touch, make sure that you, well, and granted, yes, you should always make sure that a nurse is with you while you do anything, but it's hard to learn if you're in an environment that doesn't let you do anything. I feel like looking at something can only go a long way. So yeah, that's all I have to say. I'm tired, so good night. Little check-in. So I'm officially 3 weeks into my orientation, and I just got my first check. I got my first check, and I want to talk about it. And let me tell you, it was more than I was expecting, and I'm happy.